probably type in the comment. Okay. Pope, are we streaming?
We're good to go.
Okay. So if you guys can type in the comment section, on the scale of 1 to 10, let me actually get a kind of data on the kind of skill sets we have in the group in the room. On a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate your data skill? 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. Let's get started with that. And we have 2 minutes to do that, please. Your data skills on a scale of 1 to 10, please. 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, 10 as the highest, please. I want to know the distribution of people so that we can know how to address people in the house. If you are just joining us, we are ranking our data skills on a scale of 1 to 10. If you've attended our previous webinar, one of the key skills that people that is being one of the key tools that are being used within the data space beyond what you can imagine is actually Excel. So if you think your Excel skill is good, you can give yourself close to 4 or 5. So I'm seeing some people typing 222. Sometimes you know more than you think you know. And we get started fully. Okay. So all of you are still confirming your scores as 2-2. Okay, no problem. How many responses did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that is fine. So 1 minute more. So how many people among us have done some form of data training or self-learning, or you've done both? So if you've done data related training or you've done some kind of self-learning data training by yourself, or you've done both. So if you've done self-learning, type self-learning. If you've done both, do both. If you've done what's it called? Just training, just put training. Let's see that. Let's see that number also. Okay. Training only. Okay. Both. Okay. All right. That's good, 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 good. Let me give some other people a link that are also trying to get in. That are also trying to get in. Just a moment. Okay. So we'll get started. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor, and uh, I did put this slide together so that I can discuss how to get or how to break into data analytics if you have interest in it. Um, this webinar is actually being sponsored by PyCharge in collaboration with Exovat. Exovat does training, and I will show you stuffs about the training as we go on. However, my assumption is that anybody participating in this webinar is having some level of data knowledge to a reasonable extent. That is to say, you've either done self-learning or you've done a structured learning, or you've done both before, and sometimes when people have done any form of training, they want to break into the market, and the barrier is what we are going to talk about tonight. So, I will be putting years of experience or in terms of things that I have encountered and what other people also encountered. I'll be condensing everything into I think 10 or 15 page slides tonight, and I'll make one or two people speak and share their own experience with us tonight. My intention tonight was actually to bring about 4 or 5 people, but some of them are fasting, some of them are having some other engagement today, so we may end up getting 1 or 2 people to end up speaking. Regardless, if they can't, I will tell my own story and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Let me move to the next stage of my slide. Boom. So, talking about training, if you are interested, Extrovert does what's it called? Data analytics training. We do 6 weeks and it's 550. It's fully hands-on, completely hands-on. There is no shortcut to it. If you know that you just want to come and and just want to sit down, don't even bother. Come and get your hands dirty. That's the only way we can do it. It's 6 weeks, very intensive, and we will give you the key tools that you need to know to get yourself into the industry. And that's what the Extrovert does. So depending on your location, if you're in Canada, US, or in the UK, that's the fee. So you can check extrovert.com/training for it. So our agenda for today, I'll be doing some kind of introduction. The introduction will be a bit of me discussing common misconceptions about getting a job in the data space. I also want I think some points came into my head later, and I feel like I'll leave that for later. Maybe when we do another webinar, I will kind of reinforce those ones. But it's actually not directly fitting into it, but I'll talk about it today. I'll talk about stuff about the job. I'll talk about the job market, what the job market looks like right now. I'll talk about some of the key hacks that we've been doing or things that we've been using to be able to get job. I'll talk about what you need to practice. Then we'll go into the stories. There are about 10 slides or 12 slides altogether. So don't worry, I won't take much of your time. And that's the reason why I was thinking we should wait a little bit for the guys that are yet to join us. So what are the common misconceptions? I'll pick the one that I did not write here, and it's something to do with the last one, but maybe I should pick it up. If I miss it, you guys should actually remind me in terms of the money. Yes, I must say to you, yes, data analysts get paid a lot of money. Yeah, they pay them good money, especially during the very early days of data, where when everybody, there's a time. Right now we have AI. The hype is now AI. Back in those days, it used to be, oh, data, and trust me, they paid a good amount of money on for those who jumped on that on the bandwagon. Then a lot of companies paid because they don't even know what the whole thing is all about. Right now, if you know stuff about AI and you are lucky to land a job, they may pay you a lot more than they will pay you in the future, because right now that is the buzzword. That is what everybody is trying to, like, oh yeah, I want to jump on data, and that's it. However, with how much money you are paid, please remember, depending on the country where you are living, there are tax laws. I must make that very clear to you that regardless of how much you make, there are tax laws. For example, in Scotland, from 1st of April, if you're earning over £150,000, your tax goes to our 48%. No, it's cumulative. You can look that up online, but the conversation of today is not about taxes. All I just want you to know that is that the more money you make, the more taxes you will pay. So if you think you want to get a high-paying job and you will be paying less taxes, well, you probably need to move to a different country. Probably you are living in the Middle East, where, but just remember that there are competition in those places too. So let me leave that part and let me hit on the misconceptions. The common misconceptions we do get within the data space is that a lot of people think that, see, the moment I collect my certificate like this, boom, I will land a job. My brother, my sister, that is not correct. In the voice of the former Nigerian president, nobody gives 2 cents about your certificate. I have not done any data job before ever in my life where they ever asked me to bring my certificate. I have never shown anyone my certificate. And I have asked a couple or a good number of data scientists or data analysts that I have met. Nobody will ever ask you for your certificate. Nobody. So don't think, I have realized that a lot of people, when they are training, everybody just trained for completion. Everybody trained to say, the moment I collect my certificate like this, I'll just tender out the certificate to them like a check like this, and they'll just let me go in. My brother, it doesn't work that way. Nobody cares about what you have on your certificate. Nobody cares, regardless of where you are bringing it. If you're bringing it from Harvard or from Stanford or Oxford, nobody cares. And I'm still saying this, and I will reinforce it very well for you. Nobody cares. No one cares about it. 9 out of 10 job interviews you will do, they want to know how much experiences you have or how much experience you have. And how can you have experience as a data scientist or a data analyst or whatever? You need to have practiced enough. There is no way to get the experience than to practice. Is either you create the problem by yourself and start solving it, or you go and download random data sets online and start analyzing it and start doing visualization, or if it's machine learning or whatever it is, start doing analysis on that data. That is the only way to get experience. And that's why when Extrovert is doing training, we reinforce a lot of assignment, because that's the way you can practice what you've learned. So it's not about just, learning and just, oh, I've listened to them. Oh, it sounds very interesting, and that's it. No, you need to practice it, because when you practice it very well and you know it, the way it happens is, I'll give you a story. I think sometimes last year I was on a trip, and I was supposed to go on. I was supposed to switch buses at I mean transit somewhere, then switch buses or coaches or whatever it is. As I was stepping out of that bus, the first bus, I just got a call. Hello, 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 Victor. Oh, please, we need help. I'm like, yeah, how can I help you? We are struggling with one VLOOKUP somewhere, and we need you to help us. I quickly turned on my tab, boom, and like, okay, show me the screen, and I had to help them solve that problem instantly. See, as a data analyst, people want to be able to call you, wake you up from your dream, and want you to solve that problem for them immediately. If you cannot do it, if you say, okay, I know Excel, and you cannot help wake up out of your dream and solve that problem for someone, you are not there yet. So I would recommend that you practice well enough that if they wake you up and say, can you solve this problem for me? And you'll be able to tell them, you will be able to tell them yes. That is all you need to get your job, not your certificate. Nobody cares. And I'm repeating it, and I will emphasize it until the end of this. You will hear from, I will ask questions from those who are going to give us their own testimony today, if they were ever asked to present their certificate, or if they think it is their certificate that got them the job. No. In the data space, nobody cares about your degree. Nobody cares about where you've trained. Nobody cares about whatever. I made a good number of people that are within the data space are even self-learner. So they don't even have any certificate. So all they need you to do is, and I can tell you, a good number of interviews will just tell you, oh, welcome to this interview. And we are going to be doing a 2-part interviews for you. Okay, the first part is personality test. Tell me about the time when you dealt with a difficult stakeholder, blah, 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 blah. You talk and you BS through that. Sorry for the word. Guess what they will do for you next? They will give you an Excel sheet and tell you 30 minutes, you have to solve it. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, pivot table, draw charts, etc., or start telling you how will you analyze this problem. And I can tell you that I have done that kind of interview many, 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 many times. A friend of mine last week was given a whole data set, random data set that does not make sense, and they told him to build a Power BI report for it. That's how you get a job within the space. So if you think you are basing or focusing all your energy on certificate or without putting much effort into the experience, I think you're just wasting your time. So if you've been doing that, I would recommend that you should repent and focus on getting your experience. You can go on sites like Kaggle and etc., download random data sets, go and look at COVID-19 data sets, go and look at random data sets online, make something out of it, start imagining what kind of problem can an organization have, and make good sense, whatever out of it. Now, let's go to the next one. People sometimes assume that when you learn once, that is all. Oh, the moment I finish my training like this, I'll just get a job. The moment I get a job like this, that's the end. My brother, my sister, please don't be caught in that lie, or what's the right word? Don't be caught in that whatever school of thought. It is not correct. Every single day, there is a new technology that is coming down. I mean, that is going out there that somebody is working on, that is, becoming whatever. And as those new stuffs are getting out there, the first set of people that get their hands on it are the ones that are going to make the most of it. So the best way to do it is that, okay, you learn how to do data analysis. That's your foundation. The next stage is for you to jump on the next big thing that is coming out there that you think you can learn. Learn it, even if you don't know everything about it, have an idea. And you just have to keep learning. As you learn, as you do all kinds of stuff at work, you keep learning and keep improving. Continuous learning, continuous improvement is a must. Who's that with your mic, please? Mute your mic, please. Pope, can you mute this person for me? Pope? Okay, thank you. So, continuous learning and continuous improvement is a must within the space. Oh, is this person still on? Please mute your mic as you're coming into the room, please. Pope, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Please, can you mute everyone, please? So as you continue within the space, don't you ever stop learning. And that's why a lot of self-learning. If somebody trains you or teaches you something, it doesn't stop there. There is a lot of other stuff that you will learn along the way. You will learn to solve problems by yourself. And I must confess to you that we people within software engineering, data analysis, and etc., I can tell you every day, we all still resort back to YouTube, Stack Overflow. We Google every day. We use Chat GPT. It is normal. I'm dealing with something I don't know whatever. Then you can also ask questions from other people. There is nobody that knows it all, but you must know the foundations. Job applications. Oh, I just did 5 applications last week and I'm still waiting for all of them. So I'm hoping that, I'll get a job next week. My brother, my sister, don't fool yourself. An average person that got a job probably did over 200 applications. And in the last 1 year, the job market has been quiet. So I can tell you point blank that you may have to do about 700 to 800 applications before you get a very good one these days, because most organizations are dealing with budgeting issues. What's it called? So I can tell you that it is not automatic. You will get a job, you will get a good paying job, but you need to put enough effort. There will be a lot of rejections. Oh, unfortunately, some of them don't even have job in the first place. I can tell you point blank that agencies are even posting fake jobs these days. Oh, unfortunately, we cannot hire you. It's a lie. It's just because they don't even actually have that job in the first place. So get used to rejections and, just keep applying until you get the one that's going to tell you yes. And there are things you need to also do about job applications. Always ask for feedback when they reject you. What did I do wrong? Is there anything I did not say that I'm supposed to say? Or you understand, stuff like that. And that will help you learn to improve yourself for the next whatever. And it will even challenge you. Okay, let me tell you a very short story. I remember I did one NHS data analyst interview once. And the guy asked me a question about stored procedure, and that was what threw me off. I did not really know stored procedure very well, but trust me, that was the day I learned stored procedure. If you wake me up tomorrow and ask me about stored procedure, I will tell you what it is all about. And it's all because of the fact that I was rejected at a job interview. So that's how we learn. You learn as you fail. Some people believe that as a data analyst, you will be paid to do nothing. That is not correct. You are paid to deliver a solution. Although the difference between being paid as a data analyst or a data scientist and let's say working as in the front desk or you are doing a target job in the bank is that every other job may have some kind of target to say you must finish 5 cases in a day. As a data analyst, you are the one that tells them, I will be ready next week. So your communication skills must be top notch and be able to say, oh, sorry, I don't think I'll be able to finish it. Can you extend the deadline? You understand? So, but it's more delivery based. You may not be able to do everything very well in the afternoon, and you can wake up in the middle of the night to solve it. That is the good side of it. But I can tell you, you are going to do the work you have been paid for. You may think, oh, this job is just going to take me 5 minutes. You may end up spending the next 2 weeks trying to figure it out. And that's, I can tell you, for the last 2 months, I have one single problem I've been trying to solve that I'm yet to get a solution for at work. And that's what you are being paid for. It's a brain walk. You will have days when you have to go and stay in the shower or go for a long walk thinking about a single problem. And the problem can be, we all know 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. But your data set, you did 2 plus 2 and it's giving you 3. What could have happened along the way? You now start thinking, did I connect it wrongly? Should I break everything down? Should I do it all over again? Or you just realize that there is 1 3 that is having comma somewhere and you have to remove it, and that's the only problem. But see, going through that process of process of pain, of trying to crack that problem, is what we call learning in this space. Because next time when you see it, you know where to quickly go and check, and that's how you build experience. If you have not encountered similar problems by yourself when you are practicing by yourself, nobody will give you job. Of all the things I've mentioned here, let me take another poll. How many of them? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many of these are you guilty of? Throw the number here. Out of 5. Are you guilty of the 5? Are you guilty of the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1? How many people are guilty of the 5? Please rate yourself. I want to see in the chat, please. Use the chat area, please. Are you guilty of the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1? Nobody wants to admit that they are guilty of any of them. Is that correct? Okay, one person is guilty of 1. One person is guilty of 4. One person. Who else is guilty? Okay, you are guilty of number 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, number of job applications. Oh, yeah, definitely. You have to apply for a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs. So, who else again? What number? Somebody said they are guilty of number 1. Okay, that means they are guilty. They think that just by certificate. Okay, that's interesting. That is really interesting. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 job applications. Yes, it's because the job market has been quiet in recent days. But trust me, I can tell you without doubt that if we are not in recession in the UK, you may probably be doing between 50 and let's say 50 and 200 job applications. But right now, with how difficult it is in the market, you are not the only data analyst. There are so many data analysts out there, and the number of jobs that are out there is very small. Maybe from April, when we start the new financial year, there'll be a bit of a ease in the market. The UK is actually in recession, I must confess to you. But trust me, you should not do 2 or 3 applications and be, and oh, Zoom user, please, can you mute yourself, please? There's a lot of background noise on your hand. Zoom user. Zoom user, please mute yourself. Thank you. You are not muted yet. Okay, so let's move to the next stage. Yeah, I must tell you, I think I've covered some part of this already. The job market, just like I said a couple of minutes ago, we've got seasons. There are seasons where you have a lot of jobs in the market, where if you apply today, probably tomorrow and next tomorrow, the job is here. But as it stands right now, it's been a bit quiet in the market. I can tell you in the last 1 year, the job market has been quiet. If you know you are good enough, I can tell you that government is the best employer at the moment. Whenever there is recession, government jobs are always available within that space. So if you're able to put attention or a lot of effort into government related jobs, you are likely to get government jobs as a data analyst right now, because private sector, some of them are dealing with a lot of financial difficulties. I have mentioned before, please, nobody cares about your certificate. People care more about your experiences. Your experience is what gets you the job. Your experience is it. If you guys can go and check so many data science or data analyst applications, job adverts, they will never say must have a bachelor of science in data and whatever. No, they can say computer science sometimes, but trust me, regardless of whatever degree you have, because most people that works within this space do not are not is not required that you must be a computer science person to work within this space. I remember that a lot of people that are doing data science that are working as data scientists in many places, some of them are even psychologists. Now you get people in public health that are doing heavy data stuff. So it does not matter. Our ability to do data analysis is a skill set. It's a skill set that you need to learn, just the way you learn how to type. Nobody will ask you for your certificate. Oh, can you give me a certificate that you can type in Microsoft Word? Nobody cares about it. Can you type? If I give you something, can you type it for me? That is what everybody's looking for. I have a problem. Can you help me solve it? Because you are going to their company to help them solve their problem. Latest technology skill set, I have mentioned it. Jump on the latest technology within your space and make sure you are, at least have an idea of it. You don't need to know everything. Have an idea of what's going on there. So, I have said this. Employers are looking for what? The right candidates with enough experience to get the job done. They are not looking for the person with the biggest certificate. Nobody cares about what your grade is. Oh, I had a first class and whatever. Nobody cares. They care about, okay, sorry, we have this data set and it's not computing very well. Or let's say our store, we made 500,000 in sales last year. And this year, we are only making 100,000. Can you help us look at this data and tell us what is wrong with it? They will just dump a bunch of Excel sheets in your front, or just tell you, this is your access to the CRM where we are having all our sales data. So please look at it and tell us what we can do to improve it. That is your job. But you've not been practicing. You are just coming around empty practice, only paperwork. They'll just look at you and probably fire you the next day, if they even ever hire you. Facts. I think I have said most of this. I just kind of typed. I just kind of wrote it down here. No one is interested in your data analytics certificate. One-time learning is not enough. Continuous learning makes a good data analyst. Learning without practice is equal to zero. A lot of people are guilty of this. You will see one company is doing one training out there, another company is doing another training out there. They will join this one this year. Next week, they will join the next one. Some of them are even doing 5 trainings together. At the end of everything, practice is zero. At the end, they will still come back. Well, we did all those trainings. Oh, we did. They even gave us certificate. I have a so and so certificate in so and so. But unfortunately, I did not get the job. Oh, I don't even know what is wrong with me. My brother, did you practice? That's the question. Did you practice? If I wake you up out of your sleep and I say, can you help me connect 2 tables together? Can you connect them together? Can you join them together? Can you, I mean, if I give you a practical problem within the space, can you solve it? Because most interview questions, they will not even ask you what is a noun, what is data. They will ask you, okay, so we gave you a couple of a data set last week. I like the kind of output you did. So tell me what problems you encountered where you were trying to solve the problem. Then you can start telling them, well, the data did not match, they are not in the right format. I have done this, I did that, I did that. Aha. That's how they will know that, okay, this person really knows what they are doing. They want to see your problem solving skills. Technology changes daily. I can tell you that Power BI in the last 3 months is not the same as Power BI today. In terms of the way the old interface changed, in terms of the new features they've introduced, for example, Copilot and so on and so forth, that you can use to make your own life easy. So if you just stick into what you were taught in class and you refuse to learn new stuff, my brother, my sister, if you get this job, you will not get the next one. It's not a course, because by the time you are going for the next one, you are out of date. So within the tech space, you need to learn daily. You learn every single day. Every day is a problem, and your job is to solve it. You are hired to solve that problem. If you are not doing that job of problem solving, you are not worthy to be paid. If everybody's getting good money, they should reduce the money to £1 because you are not solving problem. I have said this 100 to 800 jobs before you can land. And trust me, rejection is your strength. I must emphasize on this. I think I have a couple of friends. They came to me to say, I got this rejection again. My brother, rejection is part of our day-to-day bread and butter. You have to accept it. It's normal. They will reject you because you are not the only one. The only person that can shine with the way or their method of doing solving the problem is the one that they hired. So you to go and sharpen your tools so that you can shine better. And at the end of everything, with plenty of rejections, what tends to happen is that by the time you get your job, you realize you know way more than every other person because you've done all kinds of practice. You've failed many times, and that's the only way you can survive in this field. So, how to become a data analyst? Number one, I think the first thing is for you to determine what exactly you want to be. What exactly do I want to be? Determination is key to this thing. If you don't know, if you just want to do it because every other person is doing it, my friend, my brother, my sister, the journey is not for the weak. Because if you are not determined, how will you survive 800 applications and all of them can even come back with rejections? So if you imagine, if you know that you have to spend, if you know you have to do 800 applications before you get a single one, why should you waste your time if that is not what exactly you want to do? So you must be willing, you must be determined to do it because you will go through fire in the process of applying. And by the time you get on the job, that's why. And a lot of people make the mistake of, I want to learn everything perfectly before I start applying for job. No, while you are learning, that's when you should start applying, because that's when you start learning from your mistakes and etc. and etc. and etc. and you start improving as you go. So we've always been telling people from week 3 at Extrovert when they are training, start applying. The first what's it called? The first class they attend is when we start telling them to go and make a CV for themselves, just for them to be able to be market ready by the time they are done. But unfortunately, some people don't take it very serious, and you are an adult. We can't really force you. But if you take it serious, you definitely get a result. Whatsoever, it's input is equal to output. If you don't put a lot of effort into it, you will not get anything out of it. That's it. So you need to determine. Now, learn via classes and self-learning. See, if you do self-learning, that's great. That's the best way to learn. If you do through structured learning, that's also good, but it's faster. However, you cannot do structured learning without doing practice. You must self-practice. If you don't practice, you will still get to the job and fumble. You must practice. There's no shortcut to it. No one can be a data analyst without practice. You must. So if you feel like, oh, I don't like to practice, oh, I don't like computers, oh, I don't like Excel, then you are not ready to become a data analyst. Just go and look for another career somewhere else. Maybe you should go and do a project manager or something where everybody's talking. But unfortunately, these days, even if you want to be a project manager, they still expect you to know Excel. They still expect you to know a bit of SQL sometimes, depending on the project. Some of them even require you to have an understanding of what AI is because it's an AI project they are working on. So all I'm telling to you is that you cannot survive within this space without practice. You must practice. It's the only way to be a data analyst. Now, because it's a repeated process, all you need to do is while you practice, start applying. So you apply, you practice, you learn, and you repeat. You keep doing it simultaneously. It's something you need to do every day. It's like a ritual. If you don't do it, you will be you'll be becoming out of touch with reality. Now, when you get your job, the more you're on the job, the more you learn. I can tell you, one of the data job that I got, I don't know much about GIS. I know what GIS is all about, which is geographic information, whatever system or science or whatever it is. But I got a job that required me to deal with mapping. I don't know how to cut map and shapes, but trust me, during that job, I learned how to use QGIS, and I can reshape any map today, all because of the fact that that job challenged me to do it. So all I'm telling you is that while you are on the job, a lot of things you may not have anybody to go and ask because you've been learning and you've been self-learning before, it is easy for you to quickly look up stuff on Google and quickly start learning how to do it. And it's a brutal truth. I must tell you, nobody is going to help you. I'm not saying you cannot ask for help, but make sure that before you go and start asking for help, you've done the basic little ones to say, okay, I've checked this, I've checked that. Because if you get to them to say, oh, sorry, this thing is not working. I don't know why it's working. I have tried this, I have tried that, I have tried that, and I have tried that. Then the person will say, okay, since you've tried that, since you've tried this, since you've tried this, okay, can we try this? Then that way they know that this person knows what they're doing. But if you just come around to say, it's not working, then they say, okay, what have you tried? I've not tried anything, I just click it and it's not working. I've been clicking it since morning. What did you try? This how probably we need to have a webinar about work ethics or how to behave at work, and that's how to do proper troubleshooting. And one of the key skills we teach at Extrovert is when we're teaching you, we will teach you how to Google things you need to put into Google. If you don't know, there are things during that class that we will tell you, see, we are not going to teach you this. We want you to go and Google it. Because if you cannot Google now, you struggle at work. If nobody's a Nigerian here, I'm using my Niger accent here, so I'm sorry if you don't understand. But if you don't want to struggle, learn how to Google. So, if you want to learn hands-on practical class, Extrovert is having another session on which date is that? When is that? On the 6th of April, the next cohort starts, and it's for 6 weeks. They get you loaded, hands-on practical class, and most of the people that we've trained, we've got people that are working in finance, healthcare, tech, and e-commerce, and etc. So AI is revolutionizing everywhere, and the foundation of everything is ability to deal with data. So if you are interested in structured learning, please consider Extrovert. We don't make noise. You probably won't see us on social media like you will see any other company. But one thing I can guarantee you is that when you come to Extrovert, you will be given hands-on stuff to do. Even in the very early days, we don't issue certificates. And the essence is that we don't want you to be certificate oriented. We want you to be more practical oriented. But if you need certificate, yes, Extrovert will give you a verified certificate. But it's nobody will ask for it, to be very honest. So CVX, unless you are in the US, unless you are in America, the United States of America, there is no page rules to CV. In the US, they do a one-pager CV. In the UK, nobody cares about the page, the number, the size of your CV, as long as your CV contains relevant stuff. Relevant stuffs like your job, where you've worked, the description of what you've done at work, not just 1, 2 bullet points, but something that are more detailed. Sometimes I always tell people, go and look at other data analyst CV templates online and see what they wrote there. Use that structure. I will not tell you to copy it. Use that structure to build your own, because unfortunately, there are tools that will check for ChatGPT. There are tools that will check for plagiarism and so on and so forth. So I will not expect you anyway to go and copy another person's CV. But if you look at the structure and see how they did their own, you can use that to do your own too. Even if you see words that are very similar to what you think you've done, try and modify it and use it in your own language just to give it a bit of uniqueness. Because if all of us should go and use ChatGPT for our CV, by the time the person that is going to deal with it just runs it through a software, they will realize that these 3 or 4 CVs are very close to each other in what's it called? And that's the end. So that's one. Number 2, never put anything in your CV that would make anybody discriminate against you. For example, in the UK, I don't put my location there, and I don't put my LinkedIn profile personally. I only put my name, my telephone number, and my email address. I don't want a situation whereby I'll be in, let's say I'll be in Newcastle and the job is in London, and they will think, oh, because I'm in Newcastle, then they will not call me. So I don't put my location on the CV. And guess what? In many cases, most data roles are remote. Your manager will not really care that you should come into the office. But see those agencies that are the middlemen between the company and yourself. The moment they see your location on your CV and they know that the company is in London, trust me, they will just put your CV on one side to say, oh, you're not qualified. Whereas you are probably the best person for the job. So never put anything that will make them discriminate against you. Your postcode, your whatever, take it off on your CV. Experience first before education, please. When you are ordering the structure of your CV, put relevant experience at the top. Your education, put it down, 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 down below the experience. Like, you know, the way we section it: experience, education, experience, education, skills, and whatever. If you are from Nigeria, please, nobody wants to see your local government area, your sex, your marriage, the marital status. Nobody wants to see it on your CV. I must put that there out for those who are very new. um Only put relevant experience. See, if you're a customer service person, don't go and put customer service in a data analyst CV. Only use relevant experience. And that's why it should be relevant experience, right? And if you think, okay, I don't have data, whatever, but I've practiced enough, whatever. See, I'll tell you, you can put things that you've done within customer service that are relevant to data analysis. Put it there. There is KPI for whatever, the number of calls you've made, and so on and so forth. Put it there, adjust the CV to make it look perfectly. Do you understand? So even if the title does not carry data analysis, as long as your job description shows key stuff that are very data oriented or data related, in many cases, you will get the job. Latest, in terms of education, please use the latest relevant education. For example, I've seen CV where people write all the education, a PhD, ABC, XYZ, even up to their primary school. Nobody cares about it. Just put the most relevant, most recent relevant one. That's all. And I don't forget to list tools, because see, employers, or let's say all these agencies, have a kind of software they run. They will have a job description on one side, and they will have your CV on the other side. And they will say, okay, rank the top 10 CV from this database that matches this job description. Boom. If they say we want somebody that knows SQL, 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 and your CV does not contain SQL, you're out. So list the tools you can use. List them. Even the ones you have an idea and you don't really know it very well, but and you know that you can quickly catch up on it. List them. That's the way to go. If they're looking for somebody that knows something about AI now, they will just, all those, what those agencies do is they are looking for AI on your CV. If your CV does not have AI or artificial intelligence, they will just push it on the side. So that's one other thing. Say what you did. Don't just list the name of the company, and don't list what you did as a group. In many cases, though that part can be a bit controversial, but say what you did at work. Don't just list the name of the company and just dump it there. Step by step. I cleaned data using so and so method. I used this tool to do visualization. I did X, Y, Z. Say what you did and know it well. Know what you did well and be able to talk about it, because the moment you start submitting your CV for applications, agencies will start calling you, and you don't want to be stammering on the phone, because it's somebody that made the CV for you, or it's ChatGPT that created the CV. You just copied it and pasted it. You don't even know what it meant. Know it very well, so that when they call you to say, oh, I realized you worked at Tesco before. Oh, yes, I worked at Tesco. Well, what did you do there? Oh, I was using machine learning stuff to do XYZ ABCD. Oh, I was dealing with the customer relations, so and so data. So we are looking at how the customers are doing XYZ ABCD. That's the level of smoothness that I'm expecting you to have when you're speaking. So make sure your CV matches the job description. In many cases, look at the job description. They are looking for somebody who can communicate very well. Make sure your CV has stuff about communication. They want somebody that knows SQL and stored procedure. Make sure your CV is having SQL. Let it show stored procedure, and so on and so forth. Know your stuff. You won't be asked for certificates. You will either have to explain what you did in the past roles, or given a computer to solve problem. And when you're given a computer to solve problem, let me even shock you. Some of them will tell you to share your screen. I have done interview for one leading scientific uh they manufacture lab equipment. They just told me to do a presentation. I was so glad on that day. And after we're done, they said, oh, there's one more step. They just took me into a room. They have a computer there already with this Microsoft Excel open on it with some random data sets. Oh yeah, come and work on it. Ha! And I have 30 minutes. Come and see how I was sweating, because I was used to the latest version of that Excel, and they have this old version. That's why they type command. Sorry, I'm speaking pidgin. I've been using command. The command is not commanding. I I didn't get that, Joe. I have to be very sincere with you. So you will have stories and experiences like that. So please, know your stuff. Stories and questions. Uh Before we start picking stories, is anybody having a question? One or two questions. I will entertain one or two questions. Then I will see if one of the people that I'm expecting that I'm expecting to come and talk about their experience. I will see if one of them is here, and I'll tell them to unmute. Is there any question? You can unmute your mic and ask questions, or you can type it in the front channel. Any questions? Are you guilty of any of the things I mentioned? Okay. Okay. If nobody's typing, Rachel, are you available? If Rachel is not available, okay. Okay,
Hello,
please can you?
hello,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Shegun is my name.
Yes.
I was privileged to attend the last training class.
Yeah.
And my question has to do with landing the first job.
Yeah.
Actually, trained as an accountant.
Yeah.
And I thank God I attended the last training. I mean, it has equipped me a lot, both in accounting line and data analysis as well. But now you made mention of recession in the UK. As in not per se, but landing the first job may take us like the next 800 job applications.
Yes, sir.
My question now is, from now till I get to 800, you are talking of an average of, meaning that there is no possibility of getting a job in the next 2 3 months. I mean, from your experience, sir, either personal or from your colleague, I say on the average, at 100 or 200, there is no possibility of landing a job.
What I said was you may have to do between 200 and 800. It doesn't mean that you have to do up to 800 jobs.
Because I'm actually on Indeed, and I look at the one I would call low-hanging fruit applications.
Yeah. Don't limit yourself to low-hanging applications. I must say that to anyone here. Okay. Because they wrote a job description and they said it's data analyst and it's 20,000.
No, not as a fee. In terms of requirement.
Oh, yeah.
The skill they required. And I say, all this thing will cover this thing in a training. I've seen up to 10 or 15 that have.
Yes, okay. If you go by the skills, you are fine. If you go by the skills,
what I mean by low-hanging
because low-hanging fruit can mean something to different groups of people. Low-hanging fruits to some people is because they wrote junior data analyst, or because they wrote, oh, the job is 20,000 pounds as opposed to 70,000. Don't limit yourself by the payment or by the salary. Oh, because this one is 70,000, that means I will not be able to get it. It's a lie. Even jobs where they are paying 100,000, 150,000, some of them are basic Excel. And you'll be shocked how much you know when you get there. So I will tell you, if anybody is applying for a job here today and they are being deterred and they are looking for the low-hanging fruit, don't look for low-hanging fruit. Apply for everything that is relevant to your skill set. I hope I'm making sense to anyone. Yeah. But in terms of how many jobs you will apply for, see, some people will apply for 5 and they will get it. But you should never be caught waiting, because some organizations will take 3 months before they respond to you. That's why you need to keep applying. So you can get your job at number 50, you can get your job at number 200, you can get it at number 800. So Rachel, can you
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Before you go ahead, I need to answer somebody's question. So somebody said, please, can you list the website where I can access or download data sets? One popular one is called Kaggle. They have all kinds of data sets there that you can download and use to practice. So I will mute my mic and welcome, Rachel. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
To make your life easy, because I know it may not be a very comfortable one. Can you tell us about your data journey? How did you learn about how did you skill up in terms of data, and what was the what was the journey like for you in terms of how you learned to become a
Okay.
data?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Omodanisi. Actually, my data journey started from Nigeria. Our usual Nigerian things that you'll be by profession, you'll be something else. By a certificate, you'll be something else. So I had background in computing, but I was an investment services officer. And for 7 years, that was what I was doing. I grew up to an assistant manager. But at the point, I saw that I wasn't fulfilled. And so I spoke to my manager and I needed to change. So, when people will say you have a background in computing and people are running to tech, you are not in tech. So I had the thought of that and I decided to, pick something in tech. And what came to me was data analysis. So my company trained me, but that time the training, I didn't really take enough in, but I was able to move to the data team just within 1 year. The opportunity to come to UK came up and I came here. And so while trying to make a decision on the course I wanted to do, I thought of doing data science so that, people say a lot of things about data science, like it's the umbrella and every other one comes up under it. And then I went to Google, I saw that, the fee and everything was hard and data analyst. So let me just go for that. But unfortunately, when I came to the school, University of Glasgow, what I met was different from my expectation. Actually, the course didn't even allow me to work because it was just come and show us what you've got, do assignments, and I was coming from an industry, they were two worlds apart. And so rather than not working or not doing anything, just facing the course, because at the end of that first semester, I knew that, no, this is not what I actually wanted, but hey, I'm in, I have to just finish it. So the other thing I just took to myself was to start job application based on what I already know in data analysis. And then I started throwing my applications out. I've had this story Ajayi has shared with us. You have to send a lot of CVs out, and that was what I was doing. And luckily for me, I got in a space of 1 year, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interviews. I got 5 interviews. My first interview was with Ivry. I don't know if you know Ivry. I had interview also with OVO Energy. Had interview with Tesco Bank for internship. Got internship with facility management company, 2 of them. So I did the first interview with Ivry, and the test was basically Power BI. Let me just say 75% of this organization that reached out to me tested me on Power BI. So just take note of the main important tools now.
Was Power BI part of the stuff you learned at on your data science masters?
Yes. So okay. 75% Power BI, 25% SQL. But the truth is, they are looking for people who are good with Power BI. But when you get in there, trust me, you will do a lot of Excel. They are not going to test you on Excel, but they are going to give you a lot of Excel work. I don't know why it is like that, but just be armed. I know that Excel, you cannot just push it somewhere. I don't know. So during these interviews, like Ajayi said, you kind of come to realize that there are so many things you don't even know. And sometimes it was killing my confidence. And so one of these days I saw on Ajayi's status, that's Victor, our speaker, our host. So on his status, he was advertised extrovert. Oh, I'm interested because I noticed that the one I learned in Nigeria is not enough to compete. And with what I've seen, I don't think I'm ready. So I joined. He gave me the opportunity. I joined, and there were lots of hands-on activities. And apart from the hands-on activities, you have the opportunity to speak to them one-on-one. So many times I speak to Ajayi, oh, this is the situation I found myself, will come and help me. And I speak to Kunle too, Adekunle too. Adekunle, this is, and one-on-one, they take you. So this is one of the benefits of working with extroverts. Beyond the class work, if you have anything, even if you go to Kaggle, download anything and you get stuck, they walk through it. They walk you through it, trust me. And so when I realized that I was failing all of these things because I haven't gotten enough, I haven't practiced enough, I went back to the drawing board. I started practicing, and so I got the Tesco Bank one called me, was for internship. I got that link through Black Professionals. So you might want to also join Black Professionals. So you join them. I think they've now gone to Black. Formerly it was Black Professionals Scotland. You are in UK, please reach out. You can just find them on LinkedIn, Black Professionals. They've now gone to UK generally. So register with them. They are usually they post a lot of jobs, internship and all that. So I said to myself, it's obvious that I can't really meet the standard. So let me just go to a place and start learning. And so I went to Tesco Bank. And at the same time I got Tesco Bank, I got a job, a permanent role with a facility management company, but they couldn't take me because I was still a student there. They wanted someone who was ready to join. And the law says as a student, you can't work permanent. And I tried to, lobby them to wait for me, but they couldn't wait. So I went to Tesco for the internship. And I had opportunity to learn because it was internship. There wasn't so much expectation from an intern, but at the same time, you just have a few things to deliver. So I was learning, I was engaging the people there. I never acted like an intern. They tell you come twice a week. No, I went sometimes throughout the week. I go there. Things they assigned to me, I would do it. The one they assigned to other colleagues, those white people, they're always free. I go to them, and then I get a lot of learnings.
So one question
ended. Okay.
Before you continue, for all the jobs you've gotten so far, was there any time where they told you to bring your certificate from?
I'm coming there. I'm coming there when I'm wrapping up. I'm
Okay.
coming there when I'm wrapping up. So my internship ended December 12th last month, and I was worried. Somehow, one of the CVs I threw reached out to me, and the interview was scheduled for 18th of December. And after the interview, I got the job on the 20th, just 2 days interval. And I was to resume January 8th. I think just a space of 2 weeks. So now coming to you in summary, what I did in my journey was one, my application was not one size fits all. You will not use a particular CV for all jobs. They all have different descriptions. So you make sure that, like Ajayi was saying, they run it through AIs. So you have to ensure that those requirements, some of them exactly the way they are presented it in the advert, make sure they are like that in your own CV. So it means that you're going to do a lot of work, tailoring that CV to suit that particular job. You wouldn't just prepare one CV for all jobs you're applying. Another thing I did was I set up notification to receive, data-related jobs. So the one I feel I have skills in, I throw my application there. And then I do that daily, and I continue practicing. I go to Kaggle, I go to other things. Then some of the things we have done in Exovert, I go back to them, refresh, especially those DAX questions, I refresh and keep on. And then I also practice and rehearse interview questions. You have the skill is one thing. Another thing is for you to, make sure you are prepared for the interview, because if you have the skill and you're not able to communicate what you know, I'm sure you won't get the job. So preparing for interview is also as important as acquiring the skill. And I asked questions after the interviews, and I also reach out to people, Ajayi and other people, to ask them, different things that they probably have encountered. People also have different experiences, so they can share with you. And I also prayed, of course. So the tools you should take note of is Power BI, SQL, Excel. Please, these 3 tools, please don't play with them. Make sure you master the skill here. Now, in summary, my case was different too. This particular job asked me for certificates. The HR was on my neck because the advert says data science, computing, or related.
Okay.
So the fact they asked me to scan my CV, after my graduation, they put certificates in one envelope. I never even opened it.
Yeah.
Because the ones I've done, this permanent role is just the first. The ones I've done, they never asked. But this particular one, because of them, I had to my certificate, and I screenshot it and I sent it to them.
That's cool.
So they were just after it. Even when I didn't send on time, the HR kept calling me. I don't know why and all of that. My case was different in this one.
Is
the
it a
facilities
company
management
regulated one?
don't know. Is it regulated? It's facilities management for me.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's that's actually interesting. I mean, you are probably the first person I will ever
I'm telling you, I was
that,
like, why are you just after
and I
my
mean,
my certificate?
I've been in this space for a while. Myself, I've never, I don't even know where I kept all my certificates. I don't know where they are.
But don't you think saving of certificates will also be dependent on what they advertised? Because you see some of them, they will tell you BSc in this or related this. And if don't you think it's part of
if it is a regulated environment, for example,
okay.
there are some government contracts or some bank projects where they will say we want to run a background check on you. So the background check they want to run on you is to check your criminal records and etc. And they will ask you, where have you lived in the last 3 years, 4 years? And that way, if you say, oh, I'm a student at the University of so and so, they will send a message to the school to validate that you've been to that school. Some of them will ask you for the certificate of completion just to show that you were at that school and you did not have any criminal record.
Yeah, Tesco Bank did that.
Yeah. So in the case of even in your own case, you understand my point. It's more of an HR requirement as opposed to what you need to prove yourself to get the job. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
When you were doing the interview, there was no conversation about your certificate today.
No conversation. No conversation.
Exactly. There was no conversation. Please, if you know you're not speaking, Mike, Adekunle, can you mute yourself? Femi, Isaac.
The noise is not from my end.
Oh, okay. Then who then? Adidakbo. Okay, Adidakbo is the one speaking. Okay, let me mute him. Okay. So if unless in terms of interview, 9 out of 10 times, and I will leave the one of the 10 to the fact that it may happen, but it's very, very, very rare. And I can even tell you that I can even tell you that if you are applying for jobs where they have low pay sometimes have complicated requirements.
Okay.
That I have learned. Jobs where they pay a lot, some of them even have easier requirements than whatever, because a lot of people don't really always go for them. I'm just giving you tips. So
yeah, sometimes sometimes, because this one, their pay to me is not bad.
Yeah, which is good.
It's not bad. And I was wondering why they were just after the certificate.
Well, I think it's more of an HR requirement as opposed to the technical bit. Was it the HR person that interviewed you?
No.
It was who interviewed? Okay, the team.
The team. The manager and I think the other his head.
Okay, but those ones are not the one that asked for a certificate. It's the HR. That's
no,
fine.
they didn't. Those ones didn't ask me myself for certificate.
And the certificate they hacked. Okay, but the certificate they hacked you is your university certificate, not your training certificate, right?
No, not training.
Okay.
So, they did not ask for, in all these job requirements, when they are posting, some of them put certificate, they will tell you BSc, this or that, or any relevant training,
Okay.
So, yeah, but this particular one did not put relevant training. It just put a BSc in data science, computing, or any related numeracy field. That was what they put in this particular. And in most jobs that I see, that's what they have. I always check mostly from Indeed before Adekunle also now helped me to set up other platform. But most of the ones I've seen in Indeed, they'll put that certificate.
Okay.
They put computing, physics, statistics, and any other related.
Yeah.
So some will say if you now have any certificate, you understand, any other certificate to back it up. Some just say
because data cuts across so many industries, you find yourself in a situation whereby you may get industry specific requirement. For example, if I'm applying for a data role in a power company, they may consider me to have an engineer. They may require me to have an engineering degree. Plus data. If I'm applying for something in a biomedical company, they may prefer somebody with a biomedical background.
I've seen this one. You are also saying those in financial, looking for for data analysts.
People,
they will tell you
must have the finance background.
Yeah, for accounting. Accounting usually requirement they ask for.
I must also say one thing to you. If you're in the UK, there's a way they structure their requirements for jobs. There is always a mandatory requirement and desired requirement. In most cases, make sure you hammer towards the mandatory one, the compulsory requirement. The
Okay.
desired one, you may have it, you may not have it. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And if you look at your own job description, for example, the requirement for a degree in computer science can be part of the mandatory requirement, while every other thing is nice to have. You can look up any of the job advertisements that you have. You see that it's always splitted into two, that there is always a mandatory requirement. As long as you're able to fulfill the mandatory requirement. In most cases, as far as I have seen, and in my own case, I do between 25 and 50 applications a day when I'm applying for jobs. And in my own cases, as I have seen it, I can tell you point blank that in many cases, if they will put certificate requirement there, it's probably just something about first degree and nothing about computer science precisely. Even where they wrote computer science there, they are always very flexible as long as you're able to meet the technical requirement at your interview. The HR can have their own requirement because HR is always a separate compliance. HR is more compliance than the technical bit. And those who will confirm that you are fit for the job are the technical guys or the person that has the business that says, hey, please, can you help me solve this problem?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much.
Segun, I don't know if your answer in your question has been answered, but I was also going to say with your finance background, it is very important that you pay more attention on finance data analyst. So I also know people who do procurement here. There are a lot of procurement data analysts. So sometimes it is helpful when you filter down to your area of strength.
Yes.
So and I think you can also look up on Udemy. There are 20, 15, 10 pound courses you can do that relate to finance and finance data analyst guide. You know, there are some keywords they will be looking for during interviews, especially, or looking for on your CV. That as somebody that has been around finance, you should understand those keywords. Aside the general data analyst KPI, there are industry related KPI too. And I think some of these courses can give you insight. I also know probably you are a bit worried with hearing have to do up to 200 to 800 applications. In terms of applications, yes, do as much as possible. But the most important thing is that you should be getting called. Even if you are not getting invited for interview yet, just get called. When you submit your CV, start receiving calls. Okay, we saw your CV on XYZ. Are you available for it? So that's the starting point. And secondly, interviews. So the moment you start getting interviews, even if after 20, 30 interviews, you are still getting, unfortunately, just like you was said, rejection is strength. So personally, I think I did about 5 interviews, and my sixth was the one that landed the job for me. And I in between those interviews, what I kept doing was I kept practicing, just like the speaker said. In between the interviews, I kept practicing. Every time I interviewed and I noticed some weakness myself, I go and strengthen
By the way,
that
tell us your
area.
background. Tell us your background. What's your background?
Okay, I think that will be helpful. So my background is agriculture. My first degree, agriculture from Lautech, Gumosho, Nigeria. My second degree, agriculture too, dairy science. And when I moved to the UK from Germany, I was already practicing. So I was advised to keep practicing. So the speaker may have known the speaker for longer, and he said, you are coming to the UK, please go and learn data science. I mean, go and learn data analysis. That was just the conversation. Then I started with Tableau. That was the first data tool I learned, Tableau. And by the time I get introduced to Power BI, I was like, so I've been wasting my time with Tableau. So my background, if you look at my background, is far away from computing, far away from data science, far away from everything you can think about. And I mean, every time people ask me, how did you make this switch? You know, from agri then to data analysis, and it's just by skilling up. I did a lot of practice.
By the
Like I
way,
would just download
do you
random
have
data.
any data analysis certification?
No.
Zero. I have zero. And currently I work with a global company, and you would think with that status, with the status of such company, they will always ask for certificate, but I'm disappointed to say no. It's I interviewed. They asked if I can do XYZ. I said yes, and yeah, I was lucky. I got the job. More than 2 years now, nobody has asked for my certificate.
Yeah.
Even my master's certificate or bachelor certificate or data analysis certificate. No. They gave me a computer, set me up, gave me task. I execute the task, send back to them. They are happy. We are cool.
Everybody's good.
So that's data analysis for you.
Different experiences. And then another thing I just want us to just also know is that this share your screen during interview is now getting very common.
Yep.
Share your screen during interviews getting very common. So we should just be ready during the interview.
I've never done any interview without sharing my screen. They will share the screen and put
some people are lucky to
SQL
escape that. Some people are lucky to escape that.
Ah, interesting.
Well, because
they will
I
put
cannot
SQL on the screen and ask you to solve it.
Clinton, I will call you in a bit.
That's
Sorry.
what Ovo did for me, Ovo Energy.
So I have not done. I've done a mix of all of them. I've done interviews where I don't have to share my screen. I've done interviews where I only pitched 15 minutes to the woman, and I got the job. I have done interviews where they told me to share my screen, and for the next 30 minutes, I was running around on Excel, typing code. It will work. Type codes again. It will not work. You understand what I mean? I've done all kinds of stuff.
Somebody raised their hand.
Yeah. I said I'll call him in a bit.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So and that's why I said people should be fully ready and prepared. So Clinton, over to you, please. Sorry for keeping you on hold. Unmute your mic, please.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to ask, how do you navigate those job adverts that tell you, proven experience? If you've only done projects, not really working in a corporate environment, but just doing projects and doing self-learning, and then they're asking for proven experience. How do you navigate those parts?
There are arcs to it. I must be very sincere with you. There are companies where you've worked before. Random work. I mean, it can even be your church. As long as they are willing to give you reference, you can get people to, reference you if you can prove that you know. Just make sure you just don't go and put whatever when you know you don't know what you're doing, because reference becomes secondary when you know what you're doing. That's
I will advise.
But I'm coming, Rachel.
Okay.
That's like the extreme one. The one I have done and worked very, very well for me. If I'll go back into my old folders, I can fetch that CV sample out for you. Then I do not have any experience. I think I did 1 or 2 internships somewhere randomly. But guess what? See, before I list my education, I created a section called relevant projects and experience. Did you see the way I locked it in? Relevant projects and experience. COVID-19 positivity data. I downloaded data from so and so source, created so and so dashboard, and it was used for ABCD. Done. I'll move to the next one. Population health data analysis. And I have like 20 projects. Do you understand what I mean? That are personal projects that I have done, because there are so many software developers they even hire accept that they've never worked for anybody, but they've only worked for themselves. So because they can hire those ones, it is also easy for them to hire you as a data analyst or a data scientist. Just listing your home projects that you've done for practice. There are some other legal nitty-gritties that you can actually use, and if you're in that case, I mean, they are very legal. For example, let's say you don't have any visa restrictions in the UK and you have a company registered on your name. You can use your own company as a reference for stuffs like that, where you can list projects that you've done. Just make sure that you know what you are doing. Do you understand? Because they will not nail you based on that. They will nail you more on what you're able to display during the interview, or maybe when they give you a task and you're able to get it done. And that's where I want you to really put energy on. It's not about the distant what's it called? It's the reference is secondary in this space. If you are doing stuff like project management, business analysis, ahead, those ones you can say, okay, the company that is giving you reference matters more. But when you are doing more a technical role, people care more about what you can do and less about where you're coming from. Richard, over to you. Sorry, I just
I
don't
will
want to
also
lose my.
advise that if you are not yet very confident, you can also do internship.
Yeah.
Internship helps a lot, paid or unpaid, to help you. You know, you have the UK experience, and landing your first permanent role will not be very challenging. Tesco paved the way for me. And as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, a recruiter just reached out to me again for another job within Falkik. You know, I was just like, it's still the same within the same salary pay range. So why would I,
Switch?
Because this particular one I'm working with, like Victor said, is 100% remote. I've only been to the office once to get, that was in January, to get my laptop and the office, the phone, the laptop, and every other thing they gave me. Since I've not, after that, I've not been there again. But this one wants me to be coming twice a week, even though I know after a while you will still stay at home, because I don't know why I'll be going there. So, but the Tesco Bank of a thing, the internship I did there paved way for me and gave me opportunity to learn and build my confidence. So if you are still not, you don't know, can also try internship, maybe just for 6 weeks, 2 years, and just put it on your CV.
Another thing that came to mind for me, I remember when I was mentioning the duration for job applications. So everyone, sorry, it's a flaw. We're just having discussions now. One thing happened. I applied for a role, I think in 2019. And all of a sudden, sometimes this year, they just called me. Hello, are you so and so? I said, yes. We are
Right.
looking for a head of AI ethics or whatever, and so on and so forth. And guess what? We are looking for somebody to do AI ethics for us. I'm like, AI ethics that I have done like long time ago. Why do you want me to come and start doing AI ethics for you? And you want me to come and take a lead role? Yeah, we see we cannot get anybody for it. So and so. And I asked them, and he said, "Can you send me the latest version of your CV?" And that was it. But because I'm on another project and I know that the location, the company where they want me to come and work is within the same sector, I had to like not take it. The reason why I'm telling you this story is very obvious. When I say you should be looking for up to 200 or 300 or 500 or 800 application, Mr. Shegun, are you there or you are away?
I'm here. I'm with
When I
you, sir.
told you to be applying for 400, 500 applications, see, you will apply for some jobs and you will not hear anything back. At the moment where you needed job the most, when you've not been applying for anything, they'll just call you out of the blue to say, please, are you still available? And that's the reason why you should never, ever, 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 in any way, shape, or form, stop applying. Even when you have a job, if possible, keep applying just to keep yourself relevant with whatsoever is in the market. That's my own approach. Did somebody ask? Somebody asked a question. Somebody asked a question. I think internship is accessible only for students here in the UK. Please, can you clarify this? I don't think so. Anybody can apply for internships. Although some of them will ask you about your school, whatever, but they will not, whatever. The only thing that I know is out of bound for you is apprenticeship.
Someone was part of the internship team with me in Tesco Bank. He's a dependent.
Exactly.
His wife is the student.
So
we're together in Tesco Bank. My set, the internship at Tesco Bank.
So if you are a student, or sorry, if you're not a student, internship does not limit you. I mean, you are not limit. What's the right English? you are not you are not banned from what's it called, from internship. There is somebody I was hoping to bring on board tonight. I think they are very busy tonight, but I can tell a bit of their story. This person actually learned data analysis, self-learning, while they were pregnant. You guys can know how pregnancy can be stressful. It's not the same for everybody, I know, but they were learning data analysis while they were pregnant. And the moment childbirth was done, although they know a bit of Excel before, and this person actually studied fashion business. I'm just letting you guys know they could not make it tonight for some reasons. The moment the baby was like maybe I think 3 months old or whatever, they started applying. And guess what? Where I'm working today, this person was one that actually referred me there to say. So all I'm saying is, I don't think there's any excuse for you not to apply. I don't think there's any excuse for you not to learn. People are doing it, and I believe you can do it too. So everything is left to you. Oh, are they asking for certificate? Okay. The certificate they're asking for is what? Is it first degree? Yes, I have first degree. Can we verify that you are not a fake? Your first degree is not fake. Yes, take it off. If they will not pick you at all because you did not, your CV would have eliminated you in the first place if they realize that your CV is not relevant to the role. But in most cases, I can tell you 9 out of 10 cases in all my experience, and I've been working as a data analyst for a while now. Rachel is the first person that ever told me that he asked her for certificate. And I can tell you point blank that it's only for compliance sake. It's not anything to do with our ability to get the job. I can see somebody unmuted their mic. Do you want to say 1 or 2 things? Okay. Matthew Adewale, are you saying anything? You are muted. Moto Amazing, you are muted. Do you want to say anything?
Well, I just joined actually.
Okay. So, okay. Good evening.
That's what I'm typing as well. I just came in and hopefully maybe we can get the recorded sections for what we missed.
We'll make the video or the recorded version. We'll make it available to you guys. If you register, definitely we'll send it through to you. If you've not registered for this event and you joined, I would recommend that you go and register because I know the link got moved around a little bit. So I'll put the link where you can go and do your registration so that you can receive a playback link. Yeah, sorry. So that's that one. Extrovert.com/events. Is there any other question? I want us to round this thing up as soon as possible. Thank you very much, Rachel. I really appreciate your time. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for coming to share your experience.
And I see this opportunity to say thank you to you too.
It's all right. Thank God.
Thank you for walking through.
So yeah, anyways, if anybody is interested in our training, we're having another cohort on the 6th of April. If you are there in the current cohort, please, this is an encouragement to you. We did not just organize this session just to show off or anything. The essence of it is for you to know what you may be missing if you've not been practicing with in terms of with what you are learning, or maybe you just did it and you felt like, oh, I have my certificate, that's it. Hey, it doesn't work that way. You need to you need to sharpen your tools and show that you know what you're doing. By the time you get your first job and whatever, other ones will start getting easier. But to land your first job, there are things you need to do right. Any questions?
And just to add, if you register for the training, you can pay 3 installments. So that means you are not under any pressure. Yeah, and we give you as much as possible content. Sometimes we also attend to you during the week. I mean, not necessarily every Saturdays. So when you, as much as you have some challenges or you want to ask some questions, we also run one-on-one with you during the week. So feel free to ask questions about this training as well.
I can also say that we when you have interviews, when when you have interviews, we tend to sit with you to kind of walk. Most of the people that work with us, we try to help them to prepare for their interviews. To what are you struggling with? Okay, take this material, go and do it. We will teach you stuff. We will also push you to learn by yourself, and that's it. So, and I can tell you, as Rachel is writing there, fact. By the way, we are actually using Zoom here. Let me tell you one thing. At the beginning of we are supposed to end. Anybody that wants to drop off, we can drop off. Pope, can you stop recording, because this is me just spilling. I'm trying to spill some stuff here. Can you stop recording? Pope. I'm not sure if this guy's there. Anyways,
probably not around. So
okay, so I'll just say this. Majority
I
of the
think you should have that control. You should have that control. Check. You should have that control to stop recording.
Let me see. I don't know. I can't be bothered to do this. But anyways, what I wanted to say is, during. Okay, I don't think I have. Let's just ignore that. What I wanted to say is that majority of the organizations that are out there are Microsoft organizations. No matter how big they are, they all have Microsoft Office running somewhere. You'll be shocked how much data these guys are storing on Excel. And I can tell you, see, the same way Microsoft knocked Zoom out during pandemic. This is what I don't want to say, by the way, because it's something that happened during pandemic. So at the beginning of the pandemic, Zoom became the tool of choice for everybody to do meetings because everybody just started working from home. Guess what Microsoft did? Microsoft just changed Skype, the name. They turned it to Teams, and they rolled it out as part of their Microsoft 365 packages. Guess what? A lot of organizations started dumping Zoom. Boom, 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 boom. And 9 out of 10 companies today are all using Zoom. If you are working in any company and you're not a data as a person, you can confirm to me that your organization is either using, 9 out of 10 organizations, let me put it that way. It may not be that number. I have not seen the actual number, but I can tell you that a good number of companies are using Teams. They are all Microsoft organizations. And the fact that they are Microsoft organizations, majority of them do their data analysis or using Microsoft tools, Power BI, Excel, most importantly, Excel that you underrate, Excel most importantly, then Power BI. Most of them are migrating away from using Excel, then they are upgrading into Power BI. SQL, yes, you will see SQL stuff. SQL is another animal of its own. But SQL, Power BI, Excel, you cannot escape them. So sharpen your hands with it, practice as much as possible, and that is the only way you can find yourself in any of these Microsoft organizations. And lastly, that you will hear from me, don't only go for low-hanging fruit. Go for all the fruits that are out there. Apply for all the jobs. The worst thing you can get is what? NO. That's the worst thing. And outside that, no. You collect feedback, you learn, and you move on. Thank you very much for your time, everyone. God bless you. We really appreciate you coming. Thank you. This is the end of the meeting. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.